It's another beautiful Wednesday. You're tuned into Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, and this is the voices of the Millennials coming to you live with me, Anna Maria Emisa, your regular host. Many thanks for making a date. It's been so quick. Last week was amazing, and here we are today for another exciting and informative episode right here on the Voices of the Millennials. As we always do on the show, I'm going to introduce Kemi Famous, who will be coming through with her Millennial Trends Bulletin, giving us all the gists and all the trends happening in the world of millennials. Kemi Famous, over to you.
Thank you, Anna Maria. Thank you, Anna Maria. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to Millennial Trends. As you all know, Millennial Trends is the news bulletin segment of Voices of the Millennials. And I remain your host, Kemi Famous. It's fantastic to have you here with us. And today we would be exploring something hot, something, that's millennial, and it is about the what's not in the millennial fashion world. Now, we will be diving into iconic trends that we love, that majority of the Gen Z are already, ready to leave behind and are already tagging us on Instagram, on TikTok, and on majority social media platforms about how to identify a millennial by how they dress. Now, and how again, we'll be talking about how our unique culture influences and it shapes the fashion world. So let's jump right into it and discuss fashion hits and misses that are creating a generational divide between the millennials and the Gen Zs today. So let's kick things off with a style move that's it's been a staple for many of us, which is the front tuck. If you're a millennial, you know what I'm talking about. You already know what I mean. That's the simple yet really chic trick of tucking just the front of your shirt into your pants. For years, we millennials have rocked this look, but guess what? The Gen Zs are saying, the front tuck is officially out, it's outdated, and TikTok is currently buzzing with videos, urging us to move on from this really classic fashion style. And for me, I think the front tuck really helps, especially when you wear like really baggy clothes, or like a size bigger t-shirt or shirt. When you tuck it in, it kind of gives the shirt this really nice style and streamlines the waistline. But then Gen Z's are saying we should move on or move from this particular style. As much as I personally love the front tuck, I have to admit that maybe they have a point. It's a little bittersweet actually, but are you a front tuck team, or are you also ready to let it go? Or have you already let it go? Are you no longer doing the front tuck anymore? Send your comments, send your opinions about this particular style on all our social media platforms. We would love to hear from you. Next up, let's talk about jeans. Well, we've been loyal to our distressed skinny jeans, majority of the millennials actually. And they've been really edgy, comfortable, and it's a go-to for almost any occasion. Skinny jeans is actually a go-to for almost any occasion for the millennials. But now Gen Z is actually advocating for like a looser baggier style. I know it's hard to picture life without, our beloved skinnies as the millennials, but perhaps it's actually time to embrace some, new style of jeans. With baggy jeans making a comeback, we can explore relaxed fits and even, wide-legged options that offer both comfort and style. Now, change can actually be challenging, but it opens us up rather to a world of new possibilities and for self-expression through fashion. Again, fashion isn't just a one fit all. we have to be open to trending styles and changes, incorporating, old styles with new styles. And that is, what really counts for our fashion sense. Now let's talk about going out tops. Remember when, they were highlight of, our wardrobes, when we have like, the indoor tops, or like the going out tops, or like the going to church or going to place of worship tops, or like, the party tops and stuff. Well, they recently be labeled cringy, which means, they're outdated, and, even the name would call them going out tops. It's like, Gen Zs are saying, don't say that anymore, which is really funny. And they're saying we're trying too hard, with the going out top. It's a tough pill to swallow, honestly, especially for majority millennials, considering how many unforgettable nights rather we've had while rocking the stops. However, there's good news. Style influencers actually are reminding us that we don't have to abandon our beloved pieces that are going out tops. Instead, we can refresh them by mixing and matching with like unexpected bottoms, or layering up in unique ways. So if you have your going out tops in court, you can actually mix match them with like, trending pieces, either bottoms or even jackets or blazers, or coats, really. You don't have to let them go. It's just, to add to them and style them up, just touch them up to make them look dated. And really, fashion again is about reinvention, and those tops can still shine with the right styling. So what do you think about the going out tops? Did you have a going out top in your wardrobe, before now? What were your favorite memories with your going out tops? Do share with us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, uh, on Thread, and all our social media platforms. We would love to hear from you. Moving on, let's revisit a look that's still really making waves, which is the oversized t-shirt. I used to be a lover of oversized t-shirts before now, right? And I know that some of you listening to me were also or are still lovers of the oversized t-shirts and bike shorts combo. So I personally love to, mix and match my oversized t-shirts with either skinny jeans or bike shorts combo. And the oversized t-shirt and bike shorts combo is a look that is like, it brings out this comfort, and it's like effortlessly stylish look. It's like you're being stylish, but effortlessly being stylish with that look. So, and it kind of gives us those nostalgic Princess Diana vibes. Again, Princess Diana was like, for allegedly, the first scene, or the inventor of that style. Now, Gen Z has taken this classic and giving it their own shape, or their own spin rather, often tucking the back of the oversized shirt into their shorts or pants for a fresh take. So it's really fascinating how trends evolve, right? And nothing is actually wrong with how they do it or how we do it. However, comfort should always be a priority in fashion and in styling. So if you prefer the back tuck, if that's your thing, go for it. If the front tuck is your thing, go for it. But Gen Zs are saying, the front tuck or oversized t-shirt is outdated. Even if you want to wear it, you have to do like the back tuck. Now, speaking of comfort, let's talk about socks. Very interesting topic. Item. Now, the no-show socks have been our go-to for a very, very long time, especially when we're sporting sneakers, or we're wearing sporting sneakers or running shoes. Millennials usually wear the no-show socks. Now, they create like this really sleek look that we love, but apparently this is another giveaway that we are millennials. Now, this is another tag, or how to identify a millennials, that a lot that has been trending on social media lately. Now, most Gen Zs are actually embracing a thicker, scrunchy looking socks, that picks over the tops of their sneakers. So whether they are wearing like long pants or short pants, they just, the socks just like peeks out of their sneakers and all of that, which is a little weird. Majority Gen Z says it's weird, but most Gen Zs are also embracing this style. Again, fashion is about, change, is about doing what's comfortable for you, what you love, and being comfortable with whatever style that you choose as long as it looks good on you. While it may take a little getting used to, this trend actually adds a playful twist to the footwear. Um, Question is, have you made the switch? Are you staying loyal to like the no show crew, or are you also crew accepting or moving from the millennial side of things to like the Gen Z side of things? I know majority of you are. So please share your comments with us, share your opinions with us. What do you think, and what are the favorite sock styles that you like to pair with your footwears? Now for accessories, let's talk about accessories. Accessories have always been a significant part of our style. Remember those really bold statement necklaces that we used to wear? The really chunky, colorful pieces that could elevate any outfit in an instant. Well, they are making a comeback, but with like a very modern twist, right? Today's statement jewelry is like slicker and it's more subtle. So it's not as big and chunky as we used to wear it. It is more subtle, allowing for like a really refined look that still stands out. It's exciting to see how accessories can transform an outfit and embrace this evolution. Embracing this evolution rather keep our wardrobe fresh and current. Now, majority of the chunky necklaces that we used to wear back then as millennials has now transformed into like charm necklaces. So then you see like really nice charm necklaces, big, right? But like, it's got like different styling and everything. It could be like the love shape or the star shape or like a shell shape or any kind of seafood shape. So that's what is actually making a comeback. And again, let's know what you think. Are you the team millennial big chunky statement necklace, or are you a team modern modern statement necklace with like the charms and everything? Now, as we delve deeper into the world of fashion, we cannot ignore the growing awareness surrounding sustainability. More millennials are becoming conscious, very conscious of the impact of fast fashion on the environment and factory workers. According to recent studies, millennials are increasingly demanding ethical production practices from big brands. Now, we are hyper aware of the corporate social responsibility, and we are ready to abandon, well, most millennials rather are ready to abandon companies that don't really align with the value of ethical productions. It's also inspiring to see that many of us are willing to pay more. Many millennials are willing to pay more for brands that focus on sustainability. This is a really powerful shift and one that's actually pushing the fashion industry to rethink its practices. Let's not forget about the technological advancements influencing, millennial shopping habits also. High-tech fashion has truly become a part of our everyday lives, right? It's not just about smartwatches or 3D printed shoes or even 3D shoes or wristwatches and all of that. Technology has evolved. It has also revolutionized the way fashion industry produces, advertises, and sells. There's a study by Big Commerce that shows that, two out of the three millennials prefer online shopping over visiting physical stores. This preference is actually reflected in the rise of fashion apps that promote the latest trends and pieces. Now, retailers are utilizing big data to monitor sales and predict customer needs, producing stylish clothing even before trends go viral. The convenience and accessibility of online shopping allows us to really express our individuality while staying ahead of the curve. So again, with all of this, we are still able to keep, the our millennial side of the things. For us millennials who still want to remain millennials, we can still keep millennial side of the things, but still, evolve in our fashion sense embrace, how technology is changing things for us and our options. Now, talking about individuality again, if the 80s were all about like vibrant colors and 90s defined by plaid tops and distressed jeans, well, today's fashion or today's fashionable millennials are focused on self expression, which is a really unique thing for us. There's no longer a single definition of style. Instead, we mix and match according to our personalities. Now, this is the trend for majority of millennials these days, especially since we're stuck in between like the former generation and then the new generation, the Gen Zs, and the next generation. We pair, sleek bomber jackets with feminine floral tops and bold shoes because we are unafraid to show off our uniqueness. Majority brands or majority big brands have also noticed this trend and are releasing limited edition items, allowing customization of colors and styles. It's a really thrilling time to be a part of the fashion world, especially now that there's a lot of trends going on in the fashion world where individuality is celebrated and encouraged. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on how a lot of trends manifest in our communities. Fashion is deeply tied to culture, and as Black millennials, we have a rich history of influence within the fashion industry. From the vibrant street style of urban centers to like the elegant expressions seen on red carpets, our styles actually speaks volume, and it speaks volume about who we are and where we come from, what we're doing, what we love, and even about our personalities. Now, we have the power to define trends that actually resonate with our heritage and experiences. Our unique perspective contributes to the broader narrative of fashion, showcasing the importance of diversity in style. So let me know what you're doing, how you are incorporating the new trends, the new style to your own specific, individualized, fashionable style. As things change for you, or you're still keeping on to your side of the millennial things, or are you incorporating, the new styles, maybe the Gen Z styles or the Gen X styles, to your fashion style? Let us know in the comment section. That this is all I personally have for you today. I am signing out. Please do stay tuned next Wednesday when we discuss something different. I will be handing over to Anna Maria for the rest of the show. Do stay tuned and see you next Wednesday. Bye bye.
Thank you, Kemi, for that exciting edition of the Millennial Trends, giving us all the tidbits and all we need to know about what's happening. It was a very interesting news bulletin there. And at least we get to know what is going on out there, what millennials and Gen Zs are doing, and what the involvement there is. Thank you so much. And on this note, we welcome you to another exciting edition of the Voices of the Millennials. Tonight, we are discussing networking and socializing. How do millennials do it? What are the tips? What are the tips in doing it right, getting it right? With me on the show is my favorite panelist, regular panelist, Michelle Cobbler, who will be telling the stories, of course. She has a lot of stories to share and a lot of experience to share with us. So we will be discussing this topic right about now, go deep into it, and see how we can best serve you with a meal that will keep you going in whatever productive activity you find yourself in. Welcome, Michelle, on the show.
Hi, hi everyone. Sorry, I'm suffering a bit of a cough, but we'll be fine.
Sorry.
As usual, it's just the change in the weather, but it's
How's your
okay.
day been?
It's been good actually. It's been a pretty busy week. I think there's been a lot of work both for my job at Deloitte and my personal business, which is event planning. How's yours? How's your day been?
Mine
How's
has
it
been
been?
good. Mine has been good. It was quite chilly and sunny today. So Yeah, I'm just all stuffed up. Was
Yeah.
just waiting for the show to start. Yeah. So
So,
basically tonight we are going to talk about networking and socializing. Um what does it mean to us as millennials? What are some of the tips that we can give, to help millennials out there, young individuals out there, get going with regards to getting connected to the right people the right way? Um, do you have any background, or how do you go about networking and socializing? In the first place, is there a difference between networking and socializing? Like, is it the same thing? What are your thoughts on that?
that's a good question. I would say that networking can be a form of socializing. I would well with a certain so I would say that because I think um you networking is usually in a certain direction to build connections within a certain context. It might be for a job, it might be to broaden your network, it might be to um I guess gain some knowledge, but essentially I think it's socializing with a certain like with a particular purpose, whereas socializing is more like open. Networking is kind of a bit specific in the the goal that you were trying to achieve at the end of the time that you spend with the person. um I don't know, do you have any additional
Okay,
things?
so it would be safe to say that networking is a bit more intentional because it has a goal at the
Yes.
end. So it's more about meeting people that can help you professionally, meeting like key people that can be of help to you
Mm,
professionally. While
yeah.
socializing is more like casual, more friendship sort of, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So do you have any like any background? Is there like a particular way that you've gone about it for the past years that you've been in your personal business, in the professional or corporate space?
Uh Honestly, I think we're in a space and time where you can't live without networking. Like
Mm,
I think it's like so essential. It's said a lot of the times that now even when you apply for a job, like you're most likely going to get it if it's through a referral as opposed to directly applying to jobs. Like jobs are such that it's there's internal hiring, and then there's like referrals from the people who are already in the firm or in the job in the company before it even comes to the general public. And so you can imagine if like everybody is referring somebody, at which point would it get to you who is just in the general public? So I think that networking has definitely is definitely a big part of professional life thus far. In terms of personal experience, I have a lot. I think even right in school, um, I found myself like learning the art of networking. Coming from Ghana, I wasn't doing much, I guess, because at that point in my life, it was mainly high school. And then, after high school, you know that you're going to university or college. So I didn't really see the need. But coming here, um, I have been put in a position where I've had to network a number of times. In school, for example, every time there were like, I had coffee chats with my professors, for example, I had to I guess like network on LinkedIn. For example, when I graduated, I think that was like the peak of my networking, because finding people in the different industries. Fortunately, I had a job before I graduated, but even for me at that point, I still needed to understand industries more. I wanted to know people. I wanted to meet with the people who are names in different industries to be able to better myself. And so I think like through that, truly and truly, I'm going to say it was a very insightful experience. Just meeting some of these people, hearing their experiences, and the truth is that people like to talk as well. So it was a great like opportunity for me to hear what people have been doing in their 20 years of being in the same industry, or people who have switched industry like 5 times and realizing that even as I'm going into the job market, it's okay if I switch a number of times just to kind of figure out where my heart lies or what kind of resonates more with me in terms of career and stuff like that. So I definitely think that in terms of personal experience, I have had like substantial experience in networking, not just for finding a job, but also broadening my knowledge and tapping from other people's experiences to kind of like, you know, I guess better myself professionally. I don't know, Anne Marie, do you have any
Mm-mm.
experiences like that?
Yeah, I mean, when I was exposed to my journalism life, I had to do a lot of networking at the time because, of course, you needed to meet people that you would be inviting to the studio for interviews, and you also needed to be invited anytime there is something like a particular program happening. You'd want to be the first that they will call to tell you to break the news so that you
Mm-hmm.
can do so on TV and all of that. So yeah, networking has been a part of my life before now, in Ghana as well, and it's something that really helps because I
It
actually
does.
got my last job before coming here through networking. I
Oh,
met the commissioner for data protection at an event,
yeah.
and we had a very interesting conversation. She just liked my vibe. She liked the stories and the interviews I had done with her before.
Mm,
And one day she just invited me over to come to her office and she gave me the job offer. So that's how I got my
amazing.
last job, yeah, in the Ministry of Communication, where I was posted there as the public relations officer, and it was through networking. So networking
Yeah,
can do a lot of magic.
it
Another
does.
one on same still networking for during my journalism days, I had met at the time it was called Tigo, Airtel Tigo, a telecommunication
Yeah.
network in Ghana. Tigo, one of the officers in the Tigo industry. And through networking, when I was having my wedding, I invited Tigo, and Tigo came to my
Oh,
wedding. They actually gave
wow.
me and my husband a tablet, a Samsung tablet with data, free
Oh,
data on Tigo. Yeah. So networking is
amazing.
actually like an amazing situation that you can find yourself in, and you can gain a lot, especially professionally, and
Yeah.
also benefits that can go a long way to help you one way or the other. So definitely, networking has been a part of my life, and I have made good use of it, and that is why we are talking about it tonight. How young individual, how we can help you, how we can give you the tips to
Yeah.
be able to network right and see how you can leverage on those connections to be able to be productive, as you go. I just wanted to link the digital face now, the digital shift that we have now as against networking, because it used to be face to face. That was the only option until the internet came, and social media is the next big thing, and now you can actually network via the internet. That's one of the ways that millennials have
Yeah.
actually worked through networking.
Yeah.
How is that experience as well coming out? Is it a blessing or a curse?
Um, Honestly, I think it's a two-sided coin, like I say every time for these kind of topics. But to for me personally, it's been a blessing. I think that there's a wide range of people that I wouldn't have been able to reach out to if not for the advent of internet and like social media, for example. Um, the good things, for example, let's use Instagram. You can follow so many other pages that do similar things as yours. You can and through that you can tap into some of the industry knowledge that they have. You can reach out to some of these people. They're ever willing to meet you, to have conversations with you, to um give you some wisdom from their experience, having been in example. And then LinkedIn, for example, which is I guess one of the most popular professional social media. LinkedIn is like a very powerful tool. I tell people all the time, people like if you use your LinkedIn properly, you make sure that you invest in actually revamping your page, good picture, solid bio, you document your experiences well. It's really easy for recruiters to reach out to you to offer you jobs. For example, jobs you've not even applied for. Um, I get a lot of messages that, oh, are you interested in this opportunity? Are you interested in that opportunity? And so even if sometimes you might not be necessarily ready to, I guess, move into take another leap in your career, for example, but just having that people reach out to you and seeing that your experience is relevant is a super powerful thing. And so, but I think that is all possible through the internet. Sometimes you see people, you follow somebody and you see, oh, this person, has like wealth of knowledge, has is doing something that I would like to do, or something that I would like to take in a different direction, and you can easily reach out to them through like just a DM. And some people have built their social media such that they have all their like professional email, they connect you to their manager, all those kind of things is definitely have been powerful through the internet and social media, to be specific. So I think that is very it's been a very instrumental tool for me when it comes to networking. Like I said, not just for just finding a job, but also just broadening your network, such that if maybe somebody else reaches out to you and they're looking for a job, you can, oh, I have this person in my network that can possibly refer you for a job. Or this person, oh, you're trying to find a job in TD, I know somebody who's there. And it's much easier now to make those connections. And then I think for even outside LinkedIn, which is like our professional social media, even Instagram, for example, you can build like, it's such a, I don't even know how to explain the magnitude of blessing it is, in terms of reaching out to people that you never would have been able to, but simply because of the follow button, you're able to connect with those kind of people even more. So I think it's definitely, for me personally, I know there's a lot of like other stories of people scamming, and people, there's been a lot of what do they even call it, catfishing, for example. You would see, sometimes I get these messages on my Manika Creations page, and people saying, oh, I think yesterday it was about like some Bitcoin operation or something, and they wanted me to join my account to it or something like that, to boost my business. And I was like, whoa, this is definitely like, is giving scam language. But I think that beyond, if you're able to, you know, not overlook, but if you're able to catch some of these what's it called, scam, or what do they even call them, let's just say, for lack of the, since I'm not getting the word, if you find how to, once you're able to identify pages, for example, and move beyond them, you realize that social media is a really powerful tool for fostering connections and networking in that regard. Do you have any
Yeah.
experience like that?
I mean,
Networking on.
there's a lot about these catfishing and identity theft and things like that that
Yeah.
happen on the internet. And so that is the reason why it's also quite advisable that in as much as these platforms are available for us to network and everything, you should as well um, have the ability to learn and follow people passively before you be able to reach out to them, so that you're just sure
Yeah.
that we are reaching out to the right person, just in case,
Yeah.
because there are lots of things happening, of course, that the internet is there for everybody, and so a lot of bad actors will definitely take advantage of it and all of that. But absolutely, these platforms have come to change the face of how millennials do their networking. And before, the traditional face-to-face was not helping as much, because obviously um, the internet has made
There's
it
the
possible for us to
limitation.
reach, yeah, a wide
Yeah.
range of people that are not even anywhere close to you. You can
Yeah.
just connect, and if it's a good connection, then it stays and helps you. So
Yeah.
absolutely, it's not a curse. It's actually very advantageous. The advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Of
It
course,
is.
everybody needs to be careful online,
It does.
but
But
the
I think people still,
advantages
I
are
think a
definitely
few people still prefer like face to face though. I must be honest. I think in professional networks, people like to, let's grab a coffee. Let's, because most people have, post COVID, a lot of jobs have gone remote. And so people like to go out and, see the sunshine, for example, and have a good coffee with somebody, or share a good meal, and socialize that way. I think a lot of people, at least let me say that for my network, where people are usually working from home and don't get to see don't have that face to face, experience. People like to actually, meet, so they can read some body language. They can,
Yeah.
foster those connections more.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, and it's not for everybody, of course. Some people after work is like you're almost tired and drained and you want to run home, to your kids, for example. But I think that for the most part, it's still face to face is still a big thing, and it's still a preference for most people, especially who don't get that opportunity to actually make those connections. I would say for like my team, for example, at work, um 95% of the firm is not in person, and so they do like a once a month, once one day in a month where people come into the office, and there's they we kind of there's the food and stuff, and people are able to connect and network in that way. And so people are excited to come to the office that once a month to actually make face-to-face connections, because it's usually all just behind the screen. And yeah, there's only so much like laughing and stuff that you can do, but sometimes when you have that face to face, it's more, people open up,
Yeah.
you get to, see people more, get to share more, I guess, personal experiences and things like that. So I think people are there's still a desire for face to face connections, and I think that most people actually do like to most people who like face to face or like to come out, actually prefer it because of that, their authenticity, because you're able to read that person more, and to be able to get more, become a bit more personal, um as compared to being behind a computer screen, which, like, I guess kind of has its limitations. But in terms of wider reaching, yes, definitely, I think the internet does give us that wider reach. But you'll be surprised that sometimes when you even meet people in that wider reach, when they come into town, they want to still meet you face to face. There have been people that I've connected with in different parts of the world, and when they come into Toronto, it's like, oh, Michelle, I'm in Toronto. Do you have some time to meet? This is what my schedule looks like. And then force fit in to meet
Mm-hmm.
these people as well. So I think there's still
Mm-hmm.
a good, there's still, if you have the opportunity, or if you want to, I guess, uh if you still want that face to face, there are people who still want it. So when you're reaching out to get people to connect with you, it's still something that you can suggest, and people
It's
are willing
definitely,
to.
yeah, it's definitely like that. I mean, online interactions can feel like surface level, obviously, because the
Yeah,
face-to-face thing is missing. But I
yeah,
believe that once you build the connections and you are intentional about keeping those connections, that is when the feel of doing a face-to-face anytime they are in town comes
yeah,
in, because then it has become a solid connection. But there are times that you make, when you don't take good care of your connections, that's sometimes there's never a face-to-face that follows, and that can be also a challenge. What
yeah,
are some of the challenges that online networking, or trying to network professionally or socially, there are some challenges that come with it, especially when the connections are not solid enough. So, or maybe I should say, um because of how the world is going, and how in the young people are trying to do everything and anything, and they're trying to meet so many people at the same time, so you tend to forget some of the connections that you have built over time, and they remain passive. You never get to follow up on your connections, and then the connections go away. What are some of the challenges that individual face, trying to maintain, that's the word, trying to
yeah.
maintain connections?
I think the first thing is, what was your intention with going to connect? I think
Mm,
that one mistake that I do realize is that when people are going into networking just to get a job, for example, that's it's so skewed. What do I call it? It's so skewed a mission that at the end of the day, you don't end up building an authentic relationship. If you're going into I tell people that sometimes it's not because of your qualities, that it's not because of your skill sets that people hire you. There are a lot of personality hires, and it's something that personally, as a senior analyst on my team, when I'm recruiting people, I look a lot about personality. I have a lot of friends that have told me that, oh, I got the job because we had a similar connection in like a certain sport, or we watched a certain show and they were very excited by that. And so I think that sometimes your intention with networking in the first place is really important. Why are you trying to connect with this person? Are you trying to hear their experience? Are you trying to learn from the experience? Are you trying um to um to tap into the wisdom that they have with the experience in their industry, as opposed to just, I need a job from this person, and it's very easy for us, for people to sense when you're coming in with a more open mind, and when you're
Mm-hmm.
coming in just to get a job. Sometimes you go, because you're going in just to get a job, you're not your, I guess, for lack of a word, a true your true self. You're not opening up
Mm.
to for the person to see, that personality that you have. You're just anxious about, oh, will this person give me a job? But when you're more open, authentic, genuine about yourself, about who you are, what you bring to the table, you're more likely to build a deeper connection, such that if this person can't even offer you a job, they can refer you to somebody who can, or they can refer you to somebody else who's in that industry who can give you some wealth of knowledge to that can give you a job in a certain direction. So I think the intention for network is really important. That's the first thing. I'll also say the second thing is, what's your preparation looking like? You're going to chat with somebody, you don't have any background knowledge on the person, you don't know, you've not done your research, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's an automatic off. It's an automatic off when it comes to that, because you don't you don't even because you don't have any background knowledge on this person, you're not able to connect as much. You're not able
You
to
don't
ask
even
the
know what
right
to say.
questions. Yes, you're
Mm-hmm.
not able to ask the right questions. You're not able to know, you don't even know what to say. You don't know the direction of this conversation. And so I think that doing your research on that person is really important. And it makes the person feel that, no, you came well prepared for this conversation. And so I'm not just wasting my time. This person actually came with a certain purpose, and I'm hoping to, to give the person, or to also, based because of the effort that they've brought in, I want to make sure that I also give them, something to take back. And so I think that doing that research and preparing for that networking conversation is really important. I think that another thing is working on your skill, like skills like how you communicating. Are you is this something that you're working on? Is this something that you've worked on? People say, oh, I was a bit too shy, but you can't go into networking and being too shy. Because it's a two-way conversation. You are not just going to the person and sitting in front of them and like expecting them to speak for the next 20 minutes or 30 minutes that they've offered you their time. And so you want to come, even if you don't have preparing, look at yourself in front of the mirror, have a conversation with yourself, try imagine that the person is sitting opposite you. If you have a friend that you can do this with, practice with, you know try and improve yourself in that regard. There's a lot of tools on the internet that also help you to improve
Prepare.
yourself when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
communication, and to build that confidence, and going. And then I think another thing is, make sure that you're also bringing to the table something. I think a lot of the times people feel like, oh, I'm just going to network and hear the person, what does the person have to say, but people are also interested in you. you know Simple questions like, who are you? And then you don't even have an answer. Like, you should have at least, people, they say elevator conversations, and an elevator pitch. Have something that you can say in 1 minute, about
Yeah.
yourself, not just about maybe the job. Like, oh, I'm unemployed, like my life amounts to nothing, I'm just sitting at home. No, there's something like there's something interested about yourself. This is something that you're interested in. Though I don't have a job at the moment, I've been picking these hobbies and skills. It's something that COVID taught us a lot. Like, you pick a lot of things. So I'm very interested in this industry. Like, I learn a lot about, if it's AI, I learn a lot about, if it's about cooking, whatever it is that you're passionate about. I think that is something that you want to make sure that at least you have a 1 minute 1 minute, I guess, pitch about yourself, beyond just like your job. Or because you're not defined exclusively by your unemployment. For example, there's a lot more about yourself that you can pitch in. And so I think these are some of the things that um usually become, I guess, a like a stumbling block when it comes to networking, and people feeling like they didn't get um the networking session wasn't properly fulfilling. And then you made a point about follow-ups. For example, like you don't feel like you've built an authentic conversation enough to be able to follow up. I think that follow-ups are really important, because sometimes even just saying like a thank you for finding time in your busy
For your
schedule to
time.
even meet with
Yeah.
me. People are very gratitude goes a long way to maintain connections. You want to make sure that you said that thank you. You want to make sure that whatever it is, you maybe summarize that conversation. This is something that you learned or you picked up from the conversation, and this is something that you let the person know that the conversation that you had is of a certain value from you for you. You picked up certain things from it. This is something that you're hoping to perhaps example can be like I really learned a lot from you regarding this, and I'm hoping that in my next job space or whatever it is, I'll be able to apply certain skills like this and this and this and this and that. And so I think that following up definitely something that's important. And if you went looking for a job, for example, and you didn't that person probably didn't get you that job or whatever it is, when you get the job, still go back and say, oh, thank you for the session. I just wanted to give you a quick update. Unfortunately, I got a job with this blah 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 blah, and so, or through the connection that you referred to me, and so I just wanted to come back to just give you an update. Thank you very much for meeting me once again, and just close it up there. These are some of the ways that you can always maintain some of those connections that you built. And so I think that there's always ways around it. Always check yourself. Why am I not What am I going in to achieve with this session, that this coffee chat, for example, that I'm hoping to get with the person. Go prepared, and also make sure that you always have a 1 minute about yourself, and then always follow up and make sure that gratitude is always received from on the other person's side. I don't know if you have any more tips,
There
Anne
is
Marie.
also
Yeah.
there is this issue of trying to define the thin line between networking um, for personal reasons or professional reasons, or let me say balancing whilst networking, the art of being able to balance your personal life from your
Mm,
professional life.
that's
Because
a good. Yeah.
some people like tend to not know how to balance that, and so you end up in the wrong conversation at the wrong time, and then you end up being one of them saying the networking session wasn't fulfilling enough because you probably spoke about the wrong stuff at the wrong time. How are we able to like underline that thin line, or see how to be able to get a balance from that?
I think that's a very good observation, and a question to bring up. I think you need to be knowledgeable about social cues. I think that's one thing, that and sensing the room, knowing the room that you're walking into. I think for um a big part beyond just one-on-one networking is also networking in sometimes like these like bigger larger groups. For example, you want to know that you're walking into a space and you're prepared for the room that you're walking in. There are different audiences, and so it's very important to respect those audiences. As it's not every joke that you can go and be joking around. There are things that you can't just be,
Yeah.
there are languages that you might use with your friends, but there's no way that you can use those in some of these spaces. And so I think that being very, first of all, educating yourself, and then secondly, picking up social cues, and then thirdly, knowing the audience that you're knowing the space that you find yourself in, and then also realizing that um you want to communicate such that you're not, for lack of a better word, oversharing. Sometimes you're speaking, and then based on the faces of people, that no, this one I'm going a bit off. Let me just kind of revert, take a back seat and let other people speak or whatever it is. I think just being
But there are some
conscious.
people that don't know how to do that. They don't know how
Yeah,
to observe, like they don't know how to look at somebody's face and realize that okay, the conversation is going off, so
yeah,
stop. They don't
yeah.
get
I
it.
think it's something that I think before I thought that it was known to everybody. It was just a natural thing. But I also realized that no, it doesn't come to everybody. So I think that sometimes just
Mm,
having, if you're not too sure of yourself, just having somebody that can pinch you. Like if it's under the table, they're pinching you. Whoever it is that you're going with somebody, sometimes to learn some of these things, or knowing, having that friend or whoever it
yeah.
is that it can easily prompt you when it comes to some of these things. But yes, it is true that not everybody's able to read the room. So I think that is definitely like a fair observation. And then another thing that I just wanted to point out, that sometimes in those larger spaces, if you realize that you've gone wrong or you've gone off, it's okay to apologize and take a step back. Sometimes you might not always get it right. Sometimes you might make a joke and you didn't realize that, oh, like maybe hard audience or like tough crowd, but just realizing that, oh, like I'm really sorry, and just like taking a back seat. It's okay. So we learn along the line when it comes to some of these networking things. And so sometimes I always say that you get better the more you network. And so don't hold back because you're afraid that maybe you can't sense a room, or you don't know how to communicate for 30 minutes or whatever it is. Just give yourself grace to learn, because you get better with networking as you keep going. But when it comes to the balancing, the fine line between not sharing, I think one of the things that you can't go wrong with is, reading the room and seeing, is this person, and see how the conversation is going. There are some people that when they start the conversation, there are different personality types. There's some people that are straight. There are people who are orange in nature. Like, oh, they're really interested in you as a person beyond, your career or whatever it is. Like, who are you? What makes you happy, what makes you thrive, as opposed to people who are more green in nature, and they're more like, okay, what's the straight to the point, okay, this and this and this is what you have, okay, per this is what I can also help you with, what does your resume look like, what does the people who go straight to the point, and that's just their personality. And so I think that's why sometimes doing your research on the person is really important, because it kind of gives you a sense, what's this person's personality like. And even if you might not get that sense through researching on the person, when you get there, what does the person like? When you got there, was the person smiley? Did they get up to try and hug you? Are they more of a hugger as opposed to a handshake? There are certain cues that you
Mm,
take the more you network with these people. And so I think that it's things that you realize over time, and the things that you get to learn with the more that you network. But I think you can definitely not go wrong with, when it comes to, one thing that you should strive to do is to be better at reading the room and reading the person that you're speaking to, or reading the audience that you find yourself in, which I think is helpful with defining that personal, professional, line.
yeah. So for takeaways of this conversation, what would
Yeah.
be the top three strategies that we would give to millennials tonight to build strong and lasting networks? I'm thinking that for top three, the
Yeah.
first most important one will be what we just spoke about: authenticity and being genuine. Like
Yeah.
authenticity is everything. Like be
Yeah.
genuine, because people like people who show their true self.
Yeah.
So it's, for me, I think that it's number one. And when for some reason, um, there are some people who are also gifted with knowing if somebody is genuine or not,
Yeah.
and that's how the LA man will put it, as in the vibe,
Yeah. Yeah.
I am feeling the vibe with this person.
Yeah.
It's because the person realizes that you are genuine. So genuine is
Yeah.
everything. And once you try to be who you are not, it's quite easy to catch on that.
Yeah.
And that is why it is always advisable to be genuine and be authentic. Also, I'll go for giving before asking. So, for
Mhm.
example, you are there to network because yes, you want a job.
Yeah.
So For example, it's a radio manager that you've met and you want so badly to be on air. And so it would not be a good move to go
Mhm.
straightforward to say that I want a job, I want to be on your radio station or something.
Yeah.
But it will be a good thing to tell or talk about your experience, the things that you have done before, and what you are likely to put on the table, what you are likely to
Yeah.
bring on board if given the opportunity. So it's an indirect ask, but you are giving
Yeah.
your value, you are giving what you can do before indirectly asking for the job. So
Yeah.
even in your speaking, even in any everything, what you are saying, the person is able to say, okay, if I give this person a job, I think that the person will be able to carry it through.
Mhm.
So always have in mind to give your value out before asking for anything if you want to
Yeah.
build like a lasting connection. And my final three will be to follow up consistently. Following up obviously is you can't just have one conversation and
Yeah.
disappear. The person may have met that connection may have met a million of people.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to connect, follow up consistently to stay in the person's mind. Otherwise, they will just forget about you. So following up consistently too is
Mm.
key. What will be your three, Michelle?
Yeah, I think you've definitely for me same thing. Just being authentic. I think that's a
Yeah.
really big one. I can't emphasize it enough. People, you can easily see through a fake person. I think it's very easy to determine if somebody is not being their true self. And I think that my second thing would be um developing yourself, which will tie into, giving something. You need to make sure that you're developing yourself. And I think that is very easy for people to, when it comes to networking, people feeling that their value is lost because they don't have a job, or they're in a place where, the job is not, I guess, worthy of their degree that they got or anything like that. But it's just a reminder that those jobs don't define you. Your job, even if you're getting the highest paid job, the job doesn't necessarily define you as a person. And so you want to make sure that you have a character, you have a personality, that should reflect in your job, not the job reflecting you. So just make sure that you have that. um, you're able to, you build that self-confidence, and you get a personality of your own even beyond. And so don't go into like a networking session or networking chat or anything like that with low self-esteem. I don't think it's going to help you or the person that you're, give a
Mm,
time out for you. And then I think maybe my third thing would just be, um yeah, definitely showing gratitude and following up. I think it's really important that, you make sure that that person, gratitude goes a long way. Whether networking or not, people always want to make sure that you always want to make sure that, you're grateful to the people who have, giving their time for you to come and meet you, or even if you don't feel like you got anything out of the session, just still say thank you. I think it goes a long way, because you never know, that person would, can refer you somewhere else, or you can meet the person in another sphere of life. And so I think that even if the session was not what you were hoping for or expecting, um, still say thank you and still do that follow up, that you need to do. And
mm,
if the person does even get you a job, then it's even more gratitude, because you need to make sure that you're keeping in touch. You're, going back, um, giving the person feedback updates, building those true connections, because those really go a long way, um, with fostering and maintaining those kind of relationships. Yes.
mm. And on that note, this is how we do wrap up on this edition of the Voices of the Millennials. We are leaving you with the statement that the key to successful networking is authenticity and consistency, whether online or in person. Be yourself, offer value, and definitely follow up consistently to nurture those connections that you would have made for yourself. My name is Anna Maria Emisa, and I was here with the lovely Michelle Kobler talking to you on networking and socializing. Until we meet next time on another edition of the VOM, it's a goodbye, be well, and have a good evening.